start with that trend as the trend you have here. I mean, I'm so excited to see so many people out here. I thank you for being here. And it's amazing how you have formed a community of concerned people that want to get together every Sunday and want to share ideas. I mean, congratulations for this. So I think by empowering this group, we can start changing the story. I don't know how long I've been talking for. Is it good? 10 more minutes. All right. So I'm going to leave you with a few ideas about monarch butterfly biology that we think are going to change or improve the conservation activities that we're doing. We all know that they feed on milkweed, yes? Okay. And we think we should be planting milkweed everywhere, yes? But it's not a good idea. I'll tell you why. Think about monarchs, yes? They fly from the United States and Canada, and they find these mountaintops in Mexico, and they love it. So their instinct tells them, march, time to mate, time to go back. What if they fly from here to here, and they find milkweed right there? It might discourage their migratory cycle, and they would just rather stay. Yes? Right, not be snowbirds. So, the ideal thing for us to do is to understand what happens in Mexico, in the US, and in Canada, and think about what can we do in that environment to help the conservation of the migratory phenomenon. It's not that the monarchs are going to go extinct, it's that the migratory phenomenon might stop altogether. So if you think about planting milkweed along the corridor, the ideal thing to do is to look at your environment and see, oh, are there milkweed plants here? Maybe not. Maybe we should not be doing that. But we see butterflies feeding on nectarine flowers. So we should be planting those. But what happens in the US and Canada is completely different. We have to try to plant local species of milkweed. 2014, a study was published about tropical milkweed, Asclepias curaçavica, yes? Some of you might be familiar with that. It's the red blot. It's a beautiful yellow and red flower. It's that species of Asclepias that's grown that is actually more adaptable to various parts of the world. And that is the one that people have been planting. Okay, we're going to do something really good. We get internet, we get seeds from Asclepias curaçavica. Yes, get it, we plant it, beautiful. Plants come up, monarchs go there. So there's a group of people from the University of Georgia that came down here and checked those butterflies. And it seems that that species of Asclepias is not giving them enough resistance to a parasite. Yes? So we're thinking we're doing something really exciting. We're protecting, we're planting milkweed. That's the food source for monarch butterflies. But we have to find the right species for the right location and for the right region. And that's probably a very important message for you to take back. If you go back to the US and Canada, and if you see someone trying to protect monarchs by planting milkweed, suggest to them, find the local species of milkweed, and that's the one you have to plant. This study came out last year, and it's a very, very tiny parasite that because the monarchs are feeding only on, or mostly on that species of Asclepias, or on that species of milkweed, it's not providing them with the resistance, or the cycle is not being broken for that protozoan. It's a little tiny spore-like protozoan that eats, or it actually weakens the monarchs. And sometimes when they metamorphosize, their wings are not developing well. And they can't fly well enough. So that is also, that might affect the migratory cycle again too. So, what can we do in Mexico? Should we be planting milkweed? The answer is no. What we should be doing in Mexico is protecting the forests where the monarchs are going to. And that is another story on its own. And I'm going to tell you very quickly something about it. Last century, at the beginning of last century, the land was given back to local people. And very differently from the US, where natural parks are protected and nobody can go there. You don't have people living in natural parks. There's no people living in Yosemite, or there's no people living in Yellowstone, no? But here people live there. Yes? And as we have needs, yes? We need to eat. We need to build a house. We need water. So, that is where the difference lies. This park, this protected area, also hosts more than 100,000 people. And because they own the land, they're also stewards of the land. And because they've been, I don't know what the word would be, they've been led to start a vicious cycle of reforestation, for example, or planting avocados. We love avocados, yes? Do we know where they're coming from? Yes, Michoacan. And the avocado orchards are expanding. And some of them are fighting with the forests. So they're chopping down the forest to put the avocado trees in there. And we might also be benefiting from climate change, because those mountaintops used to be cold, but they're not cold anymore. And that's why avocado trees can grow there. So yes, we love avocados, and it's a crazy fad in the US, you know? Every restaurant offers you avocado this, avocado that. Do you want avocado in your Subway sandwich? Yes? We're going to put avocado in everything. It might be something that's not extremely good. We might be changing something also, because local people, they need to find a crop that allows them to live well. And avocado is doing that, because there's a higher demand for avocado in the world. But maybe that's changing their livelihood as well. And those people, just like us, they want to get the best cell phone ever. They want to get the loudest speaker system ever, and just like us. And the way for them to do it is by starting to grow something that everybody wants. And that's where the difference lies for that park. It's a protected area, but at the same time, it belongs to the people. And they're trying to make a living. So maybe a way for us to work or to protect would be to go there and see if we can help them envision alternatives for their livelihoods. So maybe I see that there's a support for people that do embroidery, or handicrafts, or souvenirs, or maybe they can become guides. There are alternatives, but it requires for them to change their mindset. And that's very, very difficult to do. Talking about reforestation, that has gotten them into a very, very unfortunate vicious cycle. People from the government agencies say, we're going to do something very good. We're going to reforest everything. Except, nobody goes and checks if they're doing it. The money's there. There's millions and millions of pesos devoted every year for the same activity. Every year, thousands and thousands of hectares claim to be reforested. Has somebody gone out there to the forest and see if they're planting the trees? No. They're not. They are planting some when the media come and take pictures of people planting trees. But the next day, they're buried. They're thrown out. They're left to die. You know why? Because next year, there's more money for the same project. And they will be planting trees under trees, because all the other areas are either agriculture or avocado farms. And they don't want to reforest those areas because they're producing food there. They're producing avocados there. So for them to tell the world or to tell the National Forestry Commission that they planted trees, they will be planting trees where they already have trees. And then they say, well, there you go. See, I planted trees right there. So nobody goes and checks. There's no commitment. But it's really beneficial for all of these agencies. And they all make a little bit of money from the same process. So how do you go there and tell someone, okay, kids, gather up. We're going to start a nursery for trees. Yes, okay, we're going to be watering the trees. We get local seed for forestry species that are adapted to that environment, to that elevation. Yes, okay, we plant those. Beautiful. And we get them ready at the right time because, as you know, the rainy season here is really, really marked. Yes? Starts in a month, in a specific month, and it ends in another specific month. So when you plant trees, you have to take advantage of the water that comes from up there. Because you're planting, remember, far away. It's not like you can take your watering hose, you know. I'm going to be watering my tree. You know? So what happens is all these children, all these young people that want to do something, you're trying to encourage them. Their mind is set to the old ways. And they say, how much money are you going to pay me for planting trees? No. This is your house. You have to protect your house. This is where your water's coming from. This is where your air is coming from. But how do you get a person that lives there and has been taught to plant trees by getting paid? How do you get them to change their mindset? So that's very difficult. So if we want to do something about the monarch butterfly migration here in Mexico, we should be paying attention to that. It's the social aspect of what happens in the forest, instead of corporate agriculture that's happening in the United States and Canada. So it's a very, very different story. So we might be thinking of doing something good. We're going to be planting milkweed. We're going to be planting trees in Mexico. But how is that done? How are trees planted here? Is there a follow-up? Are we monitoring the tree survival? In the US, we're planting milkweed. Which species are we planting? Where are we planting? Maybe, and here's an idea, maybe you have people that you know that can be working on this. Maybe it's time for us to think that highways and the sides of highways can be recovered into prairies. And those areas would be the ones that we would be planting milkweed at. Yeah? Anyway, this is all I have to say, and I'm open for questions.
Over there.
I have a couple of questions, and I think that's the biggest concern of the butterfly population. People concerned with the monarch butterfly here, as far as attempts to save it. You mentioned that the tropical milkweed, is it not the native plant of Mexico?
It grows here in Mexico, yes, it does. But we should not be promoting to plant it here.
Okay. What plant should we be planting here?
Here?
Here you
Flowers.
No flowers. But once they leave their migration, they have to lay eggs somewhere.
Yes.
So it has to be a milkweed.
Yes.
Okay, so the tropical milkweed is not the native plant, and that's causing problems. So what I'm asking, what plant should we plant instead of the tropical milkweed? This place here is covered with tropical milkweed.
Okay. The question is, would you like the monarchs to stay here?
Okay, but where are they going to lay their, that's all I'm asking. Where are they going to lay their eggs?
They go to the U.S. to lay their eggs.
They won't make it that far.
Oh, they do. Absolutely. They do every year. Every year
Right.
they complete their
The
life
first
cycle.
generation flies that far.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It comes from the U.S. to Mexico.
Understand that.
And then in March, pregnant females go back. And they complete their life cycle in the southern U.S. The ones that stay here are probably the ones that are not strong enough to make it back. But if we provide them with more food here, we might be discouraging them more to go back. Of course, some do lay eggs here, and some stay back. But those will never complete the whole yearly migratory cycle, yes?
Right.
Because the ones that are here, maybe, are not really strong like the ones that go back and then back.
Okay.
But if we want some butterflies here, yeah, we can let those Asclepias curosarica, that's the name of
Okay.
the species.
Yeah, what they're finding is that there are colonies,
Local colonies.
local colonies
Yes.
here, California, Texas.
Yes.
They're not migrating.
Yes, yes.
So is that possibly a reason?
Well, do we want them? Good, that's a good point. Do we want the monarchs to continue migrating as they have done for thousands and thousands of years? Or do we want to start promoting the development of small colonies that are only local? Maybe the ones that go there and make it back have the strongest genes. And as a species, I told you it's the only species that does this. Yes?
Our next question.
Next question, there.
We are a very, very powerful community. We strongly believe in the power of one. There is a small store in front of the parking lot of El Torito, Bugambilias Plaza. They promote fair trade and they sell all kinds of articles which are organic and fair trade. They sell detergents, chocolate, coffee, all kinds of soaps. We must support this type of initiative, which is done by university students. The power of one. This community has it. Thank you.
Over here.
I want to follow up on what Karuna said a little bit. We are powerful in this community. The one answer to getting rid of pesticides and fertilizers that are made from chemicals of oil is organic. Buy organic. Look at the labels. And don't tell me that it's too costly. It's the price of a butterfly. There you go.
Right on.
Next, there's an organic tianguis here that encourages local farmers to grow organic. We have to support that. They have to be fed and be able to raise their families by getting money from raising organic, or they won't make it and they won't be organic anymore. Second, a piece of good news about organic. We worry about the U.S. and the agricultural chemicals. I'm an organic farmer in Nebraska. I have a small wheat farm there. The farmers there are waking up to the fact that Monsanto is not the answer. They are being poisoned by spraying their crops. They hate that. They're getting sick. And they're saying, wait a minute, what are we doing? Also, there are 3 brands of weeds now, goat weed and 2 others, that are not responsive to glyphosate Roundup. So they're looking at their fields, they're full of these chemicals, and they're full of weeds. And they're saying, wait, we got to change this. Organic is the way to change it. So I have a question for you, though.
Yes.
And can you do a map? Can somebody do a map of the species of milkweed in various places that should be planted?
Amazing.
Because we could plant them in Nebraska, in the sides of the roads like they used to grow, and if we knew the right kind. So if you could do a map at your university, that would be helpful.
Great. Excellent idea. In fact, yeah, there's a group of people that is already starting this. There's a person in Kansas. His name is Chip Taylor, and he has something called Monarch Watch. He's actually promoting the planting of local species of milkweed in various parts of the U.S., and they do have this map, and there's about 140 species of milkweed in North America. So that's exactly what we have to do. Which species and where?
First of all, I want to say thank you very, very, very much for your talk. It's fabulous. absolutely back. And I know that you're also preaching a lot to the choir.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful for all of us who are part of that choir. My question has to do, you were talking about the monarchs and the magnetism in the volcanic rock.
Correct.
How does our electromagnetic, all our technology, wireless internet, iPhones, all of that, do we know if that has an effect on the migratory pattern?
Wonderful question. And I definitely don't know the answer to that. It might. There's some studies, I know that there's some studies that are being done on bees and how various wireless and Wi-Fi technologies are affecting their orientation, but I don't know if there's anything done in monarchs. I'm sure there is something going on, and I think it's affecting us too.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're not sleeping well anymore because of all the radiation. So it must be affecting the monarchs, but I'm not sure if there's a study done on that, or I don't know.
Over here.
Thank you for a very, very good talk. There's something we can do right here in this group, and that's to give up the styrofoam coffee cups. If everybody would please bring a to-go cup, bring your own cup and take it home, and let's eliminate the styrofoam here. Every week at the end of this, there is a trash can full of them. So thank you.
I think we have a theme here, but I wanted to ask you to embellish a little more on it's very easy to get hopeless around all of these things, like what could I possibly do to make a difference? But perhaps you could make that connection by talking for a moment about the butterfly effect, which seems very appropriate to this issue, and how the actions of one or some or a small community can have a profound effect.
Wonderful initiative, wonderful idea. I think we cannot get discouraged. It's time for us to do something. And you've already mentioned a few alternatives and a few ideas on how to change this idea. But every time that we think, at least for me, every time that I think about a monarch butterfly, and I find it how strong their migratory cycle is and how strong of an organism it is, I get encouraged. I get excited about getting this to become a fad and thinking about the monarch as an iconic species even more on how we as humans are affecting nature. So maybe it can be our motto, you know, it can be our driving force, monarchs and humans, or how we should respect the monarchs by respecting ourselves, or something like that. But you're absolutely right. I think we cannot let ourselves get discouraged by this.
When you talked about the monarch, I'm over here to the about the monarch butterflies when they come in the mountains. We've been there in March when seen them flying. Now, when they come in November and October, do you see huge masses of them? Tell me about it, because that sounds exciting.
Good. There are 19 sites that have been historically known to host butterflies. This year, only 7 of those had butterflies. The population dropped down so much from last year. I mean, I should tell you the story for the last 3 years. 2013, the population covered 1.19 hectares of forest. Then 2014, it was 0.67 hectares, less than a hectare. And then this year we saw a little increase. It was 1.13. But it's still very low. 1996, 20 hectares. As they come in November, you see them in large numbers, like clouds of butterflies. And they're all finding their spot. They're trying to find where to go. And every one of those colonies, every one of those 19 sites, has what it's called in Spanish, llano. It's a prairie. It's an area that's of volcanic origin and has not a lot of vegetation growing on it. And it's because there's a lot of, that's one of our ideas. There's a lot of heavy metals there from volcanic origin that might be creating that magnetism that drive them to go back to these areas, and then they find the forest. But we still have to prove this. We have to find out if there's something special in those llanos that make it so unique, so that they go back and say, oh, something here calls me, oh, and that's how they find it. So it's amazing to see them as they come in.
Okay, we'll have our last question now.
So my question has to do with GMO corn in Mexico. I thought it was banned.
It is banned.
So why is U.S. corn getting down first?
Oh, production of GMO corn is banned in Mexico, and that's a really good thing because I think it was in the news recently. The court case, there's a local group of people fighting against the planting of GMO corn in Mexico, but there's nothing about importing GMO corn into Mexico. So it's being produced in the US and Canada, but it's because it's cheaper, because there's subsidies for the farmers in the US, and that corn is being sold to Mexico. And it's being used in Mexico for production of anything.
Okay, we have, I think, one last question. Right, or that was it? That was it.
Oh,
Maybe he'll give you.
if there's more interest on this, I can put some websites on here and you can go look, or maybe you can write to me and we can start chatting or communicating. There's a lot more to know and there's a lot more we can do.
Thank you so much. Really exciting. So come back next week for this biomagnetism talk and bring your own coffee cup, please. And dispose correctly of your styrofoam ones and stack them in there. Thank you so much.
Roll in the music.